Told my wife I was going out to work on the truck. She said, "Are you finally fixing that oil leak on that thing?" No. I'm lifting it back up. So if you guys remember a while back, we took the like 3.5 inch level this thing had on it, went down to a 2 inch, but then I put wheels and tires on it, and now I think I need to raise it back up. It's been nice having it a little bit lower, rides a little bit better gas mileage, but man, I just can't stand it being lower. I gotta raise it back up. We got a couple other things we want to do under there too, some rust prevention, a little painting down on the frame and stuff, so I'm gonna rip this thing apart and get cracking on this thing. So if you remember, guys, this 2 inch leveling kit, your 2 inch is usually going to be your puck down on the bottom of the strut here. If you're going to go to a 3 inch, which is what we got here, then you got to move the spacer up to the top of your strut there. If you go any higher down below, then you run into your CV axle there. So we're just going to yank this thing out. Unfortunately, you got to pop the upper control arm loose and move your knuckle over a little bit to clear that bolt. It's got to come out the top. With that 2 inch level, when we go back together, the bolts will be back up through the bottom onto the stock clips there, and then yeah, stick this thing up top. We'll see what she looks like. All right, we got her mounted up on top there. First things first, as you can see, I'm getting pretty rusty up on the frame here, so I'm going to hit it with some of this Rust-Oleum satin paint and primer. It's supposed to be like a rust prevention, says there. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray all up in there, just clean it up a little bit. I'm not worried about really pressure washing or anything right now, so just to hit it with something a little protective. Boy, this stuff doesn't look half bad. I mean, it's not perfect, but we kind of just hit all the sweet spots there. Had a little rub spot on the control arm there. I cleaned that up and spritzed that a little bit. Hit the sway bar, lower control arm, hit the frame back here. Just a little bit of coverage on there. You know, you're not gonna get it perfect. We're not sandblasting the frame and doing all that someday, because back there it's not great. But it is fast drying, already pretty dry, so we're gonna throw this on there now. Just like that, we're back together. Actually, it was a little bit of a pain. Sometimes when you go a bigger spacer and you don't have the other side apart, you're going to be fighting your sway bar link there. It's going to be holding your lower control arm up too high, because this side and that side are, you know, attached to a bar, so it's trying to keep them equalized. So I had to loosen up the nut on there, basically pulled the nut off so the lower control arm could drop enough to get our strut up over top of your lower control arm there. And then as you can see, we just got the little clips, and your nut goes up through the bottom now. Now if we ever change this, we don't have to remove our upper control arm. We can just zip those bolts out and change it. But all painted up, looking a little bit better. You got your shiny new spacer up top there. We already have the Rough Country control arms live. You remember I found some Rough Country control arms uppers on Marketplace, replaced the ball joint. It's been probably a couple years now, but they're still good. I just checked that ball joint and I don't have any play in there. Should grease them up. It's been a little bit since I've greased them, but that's gonna correct our angles. If you ever go to a 3 inch level on one of these, definitely get upper control arms at the very least, and correct your ball joint angle a little bit. It's going to ride better and a little bit of peace of mind, because these are good for ka-chowing and your wheel's going to go flying in or out or whatever. So one side done, need to do the other side. We'll lower it down and we'll see what she looks like. Got the truck flipped around right now because I'm going to be starting back here, but man, that thing is looking way beefier. You guys have heard me say this before. Every time I swap out the suspension for something higher, I'm like, oh, it's looking so much better. And then I lower it down, I'm like, it's looking so much better. But you gotta admit, 3 inches, the 3 inch level looks way better than the 2 inch. I mean, it's looking, especially with our 2500 HD hood and now the tow mirrors. I had lowered it down, and then Boost Auto hooked me up with some tow mirrors. And now I've got the power folding steps, so I don't have to worry about having steps hanging down or anything. 3 inch just makes more sense. but those tires are starting to look a little small there. Might have to go 35s next round. But they I'll show you, they came with some stickers, so I put the old KSB Performance, you know, I got these off Amazon, but little spritz, put a little pepper on it, you know. It kind of looks a little off-roady with being able to see the KSB on there, that shiny little reflective silver type deal, you know. Rolling down the highway, someone looks over like, oh, look at that, man, the guy's running KSBs off Amazon. Anyways, back here I'll show you, don't mind all that, these things have been on here since I bought the truck 10 years ago. Next month will be 10 years owning this truck. These are just some aluminum. You can see they're kind of getting faded around. The shiny silver is starting to pop through. They were aluminum. They're kind of get a corrody looking. I couldn't keep them shiny, so I ended up spray bombing them with the bed liner material. And it's just looking dingy. They're faded now. I've never really liked them. The diamond plate doesn't really jive with my kind of taste, really. I used to think I liked it, but I'm just not really liking what they look like now on the truck. Kind of want to take these off. Never been off. Who knows what's underneath. I already got one side off and I cleaned it up and wasn't great, but I got it looking okay. I'm going to show you what it looks like underneath these friggin' things. They had your double-sided sticky tape all along the top of the bed here. Had to get off, use the eraser wheel to get that off, but I figured, well, I already knew these little spots were there because I could see them. This thing, the back was starting to flap up and down. One of the reasons I want to get them off finally is this was moving up and down, probably putting these wear marks in there. But got a few over here, nothing too bad. Honestly thought it was going to be a little worse, but it is what it is. It's a 15-year-old truck with rust starting. I'm not too worried about the top of the bed being pristine. I actually think it looks way cleaner just all white without the caps on there. So pretty stoked on how that's turned out. We'll have to get this other one off. Well, gonna go ahead and say this one's stuck on there a little bit more than the other one was. Oh my gosh, please don't peel the paint off. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm committed now. I can't ride around with one freaking bed rail cap. At least get it started then. Now, what was so hard about that? This is what it looks like underneath. This double-sided tape's a little bit thicker than I dealt with on the other side, but we'll get her off. You can see this black line here. That's kind of some overspray from spraying those caps with the bed liner spray paint stuff. But the other side, brake clean was getting it off, but of course on this side it's a little bit thicker. I'm just gonna have to work at it a little more. So we'll get that black line off there, double-sided sticky tape off, wash it up really good, and hopefully it looks a lot better. Well, this side didn't turn out too bad, other than you got a couple of ripples in there from having to get the pry bar in there to get that cap off there. That thing was just being stubborn. Anywho, the paint didn't turn out too bad. A little bit better than the other side, actually. There is like one, yeah, there's a spot of rust starting underneath here that I think I might sand down and hit it with some paint, but other than that, things looking pretty clean. GoPro died, so I'm gonna wrap up this video real quick. Just a quick recap. Man, this thing's looking tough right now. I've been holding on to these 3-inch lift leveling pucks here for quite a while now. I just haven't had time to do it. I'm glad I finally got it done, because it was looking a little goofy with the tow mirrors and only being 2-inch. This thing really needs a 6-inch lift or something, or like a 5-inch, or I don't know. Need to go more, but we got rust starting back there. Frame's got rust starting. It just needs, if I'm gonna hold on to it, it needs work. And we just surpassed 250,000 miles on this thing. Still running good, but you know, she needs some work. She's got a bad oil leak. Been talking about fixing that for like 3 years. Maybe we'll do that this winter. We'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. I think this was the right move. I think lowering it down as far as daily driver comfort and gas mileage and stuff goes, wear and tear, it's better. But just another inch in the front, man. I'm sure our CV angles are cooked right now, but that's just the price you pay to look good, you know what I'm saying? Looking clean without those bed rail caps back there, those dingy looking crusty bed rail caps. Not bad. This is the perfect lighting too. Whenever the sun's starting to set, I come out here, I'm like, ooh, maybe I'll keep the truck, looks good. 15-year-old truck, why can't it look good? You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna be winning any trophies, any truck shows anytime soon, but doesn't mean you can't have a nice looking older truck, older rig, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna keep her going, keep her shiny, keep some new parts on her, keep tinkering with her, and have fun. That's what it's all about. So I'm gonna wrap up this video. Gotta go make some chili, drink a couple cold ones, and enjoy some family time. Peace out, guys.